Welcome to Childcare Conversations, the podcast where early childhood leaders like you get real-world strategies, honest talk, and a whole lot of support. Whether you're running one center or many, we're here to help you lead with confidence and clarity. This episode is brought to you by this quarter's sponsor, Playground, the all-in-one childcare management software. We're all about managing monkeys and saving you time at your center. With this platform, you can. We're proud to partner with a team that's as committed to your success as we are. Learn more at tryplayground.com. Now, let's get into today's conversation, one we think you're really going to love.
Welcome back to today's conversation, and I am so excited because, we've got to bring more of the South to today's conversation. So you got to love those folks that come, all the way from Florida, and we're all dealing with it being really, really hot, which means that we get really, really sweaty, don't we? Right? Like, it's just gross. But today I really do want to kind of have a conversation, and we're actually going to start with a conversation today about, as an educator, as a director, as someone who is passionate about early childhood, sometimes you just lose your sparkle, or maybe you lose your light. So today, LaTroya is joining us from the Preschool Posse, and we are going to have a conversation about what that means and how to find and where to find resources for you, whether you're a director, an owner, regardless of your role in the industry. So, LaTroya, tell us a little bit about how you got into childcare, and from there, we're just going to have a conversation.
Okay. Hey, y'all. I got into childcare when I was, telling my age here, 16 years old. It started for me, I needed community service hours, and the local childcare was like, you can come and get your hours here. So that's what I did. Shortly after I graduated from high school with honors, did all the things. I was supposed to go to school for cosmetology. Believe that. Ended up getting pregnant with my son, and I needed a job. So I ended up falling back on the very thing that I knew, which was childcare. It was something that I was good at. It was something that came natural to me. So I applied for a summer camp counselor position, and I've been in childcare for the last going on 16 years.
Well, you know what? We're so glad that you've joined the profession and that you are still here. And not only that, kind of sounds like your goal is to bring people up and help them through perhaps maybe personal or professional issues that maybe they didn't see coming.
100%.
So tell us, yeah. So tell me a little bit about why you started the Preschool Posse. What was the goal behind starting that's predominantly online, right? Like an online group for folks to connect. What made you decide to do that?
Well, it started with just my own personal story, right? Like, I've been in this industry for a really long time. I have a lot of friends that are in the industry as well. And you have that season where you're like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I don't know if I can. The demands are high. So let's be real. Burnout is real. Losing staff and turnover is a thing. And I think that I just started the Preschool Posse because I didn't want educators to lose their fire. I was seeing a lot of educators leave the industry because they were tired, they were burned out, they felt like they couldn't do it anymore.
Absolutely. So what are some of the resources, or what are some of the things that you heard people going, oh, I wish I had?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that one of the biggest things that I hear in this industry, myself personally, is I wish I had access to someone that understands. Is there a delay?
Like that, an extra that somebody with some ears that's been there.
100%. Someone that has not only been there, but they can relate, right? Like, they can actually give me tangible resources that I can use right now in the moment to get through my day.
So one of the things that I think a lot of us get stuck on is when we start hearing people talk about resources, right? Because that could mean anything to anyone. So give me an example of maybe a resource that you knew you needed, or even maybe another educator that you were talking to that you knew they needed, and you were able to help them find that resource. So tell me that story.
Yes. I'll use myself for an example. If that's okay. Being in childcare, I grew up in this industry. I was literally doing it since I was 16, all the way to my big old age now. And I literally had to learn and navigate throughout the process. And I think one of the things that I wish I had was access to a mentor that could kind of break down and explain to me the things that I was trying to accomplish, for instance. I started in the classroom and then I kind of grew up into leadership. But what they don't tell you is the difference between being in the classroom and being behind the desk. There are two different roles and responsibilities. They are two different roles and responsibilities. And just because you're good at one thing does not necessarily mean that you're automatically going to be good at the other.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things that, we've been telling directors now for almost 25 years is you were trained to be a teacher, especially if you were a good teacher, right? You might even have a degree, you might have a CDA, and then you did such a great job as a teacher, they promoted you, and somehow they thought you were going to do that job really well with zero, right? And so, that is part of why, Director Success Academy started doing what we started doing 25 years ago, and that's, training directors to do that job. And so I love the fact that you wanted that mentor. You wanted somebody to lead the way for you. And so now you're getting to do that. And so you've got members from all over the country that are part of the Preschool Posse, and that folks have found you on social media and word of mouth and by their friends. What is it that attracts people to the Preschool Posse? Like, why do people come there?
I definitely think it's my heart and my passion for the work that I do. I'm going to find the answer. And if I don't know the answer, I'm going to connect you to someone that does. And I think that that is what keeps people drawn to the community, because not only do I show that I care for children and families, I care about you as a person, you as an educator, you as an owner, you as a director. And I think that that is what we're looking for in today's time with everything going on in the world. Sometimes you just need somebody to care about you.
I love that. And I wish somewhere on the Preschool Posse there was a U. Like, I think you need to figure out how to misspell it. Like, maybe preschool needs to be, instead of two O's, it needs to be a U. I'm just like,
A U.
because I think that is so important. I think that is just so important because, there are, like, you can find, I feel like I turn on social media and every time I turn around, there's somebody else, some other person's now a coach or a this or a that. And, we won't talk about the fact that I've been in about twice as long as you have. So I was doing the math and I'm like, that's it. But we're at different stages, right? So somebody who's been in the industry
Yes.
for 6 to 10 years is going to vibe with you, where somebody who's been in for 16 to 20 or even 31 is going to look at me and go, oh, she's been in for 32. Okay. Is she still alive? I'm going to follow her because I'm there, right? And so, like, every person is going to need different people. Like, I don't have a problem having other coaches, consultants, trainers, people who are passionate about the industry be part of the conversation, because that's just what it is. It's a conversation. And, there's probably 500,000 people in early childhood education across the United States. And, our podcast is in 125 countries. And so we get really excited about being able to support folks regardless of what country they're in. And we just want to make sure that you find your version of a group, right? So whatever you want to call them, whether they're a posse, whether they're your, got to be careful about that term tribe, so it's like whatever your group is, right? So we want to make sure that you find your group. Now, I know you were telling me about some of the stuff that you guys do as a group to support those who might be struggling, because we all know that there's not a lot of frontline staff that are making so much that money is not an object.
Yes. Sorry, it seems like there's a little bit of a delay there, but we do have.
There is, but I think we're figuring it out. So
Yes, at the Preschool Posse, we do have a community funded initiative. Every month for the past 2 months, we have been giving away $500 to someone in our community, and it's for them to use whether it's professionally or personally. So it can be going towards your classes, towards you improving your classroom, or taking a class to help you further your education and your knowledge. Or sometimes you just need some help personally, whether it's, getting the car fixed or, just taking some time for self care. That community funded initiative is for you, and it's something that we just kind of came up with to give back.
Well, and I love the fact that the community came up with it. It wasn't like you came with this grand scheme of things, that this was an ulterior motive or that this was part of the purpose, right? Like it became something that the community is moving forward on. What else do we want to do, right? What else could support the educators and the owners in the industry that, have kind of gravitated towards us, right? Like we like them, they like us. So, with that,
Yeah.
what are some of the things that if somebody's still trying to figure out whether or not you're their person or your people are their people, how would they know? Where would they go? What might be that person? Is it somebody who's overwhelmed? Is it somebody who's looking to maybe go to the next level? Maybe is it geographically? I know the answers to these
Um,
questions. I'm just letting you answer them.
Thank you. Um, I think that, like I said earlier, it's definitely for the person in early childhood education that they feel like they might be on their wits' end. They might feel like they're 1 foot in and 1 foot out the door. And that's how you know that the Preschool Posse is the community for you, because we are a village. We support one another. We encourage one another. We connect you with the resources that you need to be successful. And if you're looking for a sisterhood where we're all on the same level, like no one person is greater than the other, then the Preschool Posse is for you.
I love that. So, somebody is like going, okay, well, I've heard the story or I heard her example, but well, I don't really know if I'm burned out. How would somebody even know if maybe this is something they need? What might be kind of that, hey, yeah, this is definitely you.
If you get in your car after a long day of work and you just sit there for a minute, this group is for you. I definitely say that literally, we've all been there. Like you just sit there for a minute and you're trying to regroup from the day and you're just like, what did I just get out of? I think that is how you know that you're burnt out. When you get home, and for me, I have 4 children at home. I have 4 children and a fiance. And when I was working in childcare as a full-time director, one of the things that told me that I was burnt out was when I didn't have time for my own children. When I didn't want to come home and I didn't want to cook, when I didn't when I walked in the door and I took off my wig, my bra, and my shoes, and I was done for the day, that is how I knew that I was burnt out.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that example. Maybe not all of the pieces and parts as a mother of four also. I can definitely recall those days where as a director, like it's like, oh no, just somebody else has got to be in charge of dinner or everybody's having peanut butter and jelly, right? So
Period.
those kinds of right. And so we definitely know that there are going to be times where things are going to work, things aren't going to work. And I think that having a place where you can come and bring that. So, one of the things I always encourage folks to do is never, ever, ever take your emotions and your frustrations. The phrase I usually use is like down a level, right? So like if you're looking for if you're the director, only take it to the owner and above, right? Like you can't ever take your complaints to you know, to your staff who were right there with you, right? Like it's always got to be somebody above. Where if you are a teacher, you can maybe take it to an administrator, but what's better is taking it to another teacher in another city who's never going to know your directors, who's never going to know your owners, right? So you definitely got to know who's in your posse, right? Like you got to be careful, like I have a rule for 20 minutes, 20 miles, like you can't complain. And so in this particular situation, definitely make sure, look who's on. Make sure
You
that
can
your
post
owners and directors.
anonymously.
Make sure your owners and directors haven't joined the posse before you start bashing people. But we all need to be able to have a safe place to vent. And I think that is, or just like you said, but I think you used the line before where people have been there and like they're like, oh, yeah, you get me, right? Like so, and I loved your car example. I think the car and the dinner example are the two that resonated with me because I was like, you've been in my car. Are you that little fly on the wall?
Yes.
So if somebody is still not sure, like they're like, I still don't know. Maybe I'm just a teacher, which is my least favorite phrase in the world, but somebody's listening and they think they're a teacher and they're not really sure this is the right place for them. Maybe it might be a better place for somebody else. What makes this accessible for them?
I think that what makes it accessible for them, if you're still on the fence about it for sure, it's up to you. Like you get out what you put in. So if you don't put in anything, you can't expect to get anything in return. And that's not just within the community, that's in life. So I think that knowing that and and just being real about it, where you are in your journey, that's the only way that you're going to reach the next level, is being real with who you are as a person, where you're at in ECE or beyond, and knowing that you have access to the right resources, but you have to have that desire and that want to. My mom always told me, a closed mouth don't get fed. So you can't eat you can't eat if you don't open your mouth. There are people out there that want to help you. There are people out there that want to point you in the direction, that want to give you what it is so that you can continue on and enjoy your career and do it with passion and do it with peace and do it with purpose. But you have to tap in. You have to get around the right people that mean you well and want to see you succeed and thrive. I've literally been in this field for over 15 years. I started in your position. I started in the classroom. I literally went back to school during the pandemic after my job told me that they were closing and I had 4 mouths to feed while going through a divorce. So yes, there's a lot of moving parts, but I think that if you're on the fence about joining the community, the first thing that it starts with is you. Where are you? What are you trying to accomplish in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year from now? You need to be around people that are going to help you grow and help you bloom and reach your full potential. And you can't do that by yourself. You have to get off of isolated island. You have to speak up. You have to get into rooms that are going to help you. You have to pull up a seat to the table, make room because I'm coming in. And then that is where you're going to see the results. But you can't expect everybody to spoon feed you and you be successful. You have to go out and get it yourself.
You know what? I think I just heard you read my book back to me. I just finished a book that I just wrote, and I was like, I think I have that exact line in there somewhere. But one of the things that I think is so important that I hope that whoever is listening, I don't care whether you are a director, an owner, a leader, maybe you haven't identified yourself as a leader. Maybe you've just been sneaking in, listening to some episodes because you're not really sure you want to say it out loud. I think what LaTroya said is absolutely the most important thing you can get out of today's episode, which is you have to make the decision. I can't make the decision for you. Nobody else in the posse can make the decision for you. You have to make the decision that you want something different. And
Yeah.
your different doesn't necessarily have to look like LaTroya's difference or somebody else's different. There are so many different opportunities in early childhood education. You can be literally a quality mentor, right? Like you can work for a licensing agency. You can be a trainer. You can do something just a little bit part-time because you're like, I don't know if I really want to give up leaving the classroom. Definitely don't know if I want to be in charge of other adults. Maybe I really don't want to have anything to do with those parents. They just scare me. So, understanding what skills you bring, where your personal passion lies, and set some goals because it's really hard to get anywhere if you don't know what your end destination is. If you're going to go on vacation, most of us this time of year, I'm pretty sure, LaTroya, if you said you were going on vacation, would you have a destination decided?
I'm going to Hawaii.
Sweet. Now, and are you getting there with a map?
I'm going to get on a plane.
Yeah, but you had to pick the plane that was going the right direction, right?
Correct.
Right. So like, and I have done this once. So I lived in Ohio with husband number one, and we decided we were going to go to Myrtle Beach. And this was long before there were smartphones. And what we knew about Myrtle Beach from where we were is it was south and east. And that's how we went. And so, if you want to get to your destination, you have to know where you're going. And if you've
Mm-hmm.
got some mentors, think of them as your map, because they're going to get you there a whole lot quicker than just someplace generally south and east, which is going to take you a little longer. And you're probably going to have maybe some not direct paths. But I don't know about you. Has your life gone in any sort of direct path?
It has not always been linear, I will say. There have been some times where I was going round and round in circles. So listen to Kate.
You were on a roundabout. Is that what you were saying? Like, you're like,
A
I think that was
merry-go-round,
my
and I
exit.
wanted to get off.
You're like, that was my exit. How do I get off? So, absolutely. Well, LaTroya, thank you so much for joining today's conversation. And if you don't already follow us, go find us on social media. It's at Childcare Conversations, literally every platform. And we can't wait to talk to you in a few days.
Thank you for having.
Thanks for tuning in. We love bringing you real talk and fresh insight from the world of early childhood education. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay connected and catch all of the latest episodes. And if you're planning a conference, training, or special event, Kate and Carrie would love to speak to your audience. You can learn more about their keynote sessions and workshops at kateandcarrie.com. If you learned something today, share the show and leave us a review below. We'll see you next time on Childcare Conversations.